Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the public hearing that's been continued from December the 9th, 2025 regarding the proposed ordinances for data centers. I'd like to go over a few rules for tonight's public hearing for everyone. We're all here, taxpayers and elected officials, to gather information regarding the proposed data centers and proposed zoning ordinances for such. Therefore, we ask everyone to please be attentive and to listen to all the information being presented here this evening. Please hold proper decorum and do not yell out during any presentation or while anyone else is speaking. We have a stenographer here tonight and she's trying to gather all the information that's being presented. Everyone hopefully will have the opportunity to speak at the podium, and we will be limiting those comments or questions to 5 minutes. So we'd like to get as many people up to the podium as possible. For anyone wishing to speak, please proceed to the podium. Be sure to print your name and information on that paper, so that way we have that for the record. And make sure that you state your name as well and where you're from. At 7 o'clock this evening, we're going to recess the public hearing, if we're still going, to open our special meeting that was announced in the Scranton Times newspaper as part of the public hearing announcement. Okay? When you are speaking, we will use the 5-minute timer. You'll hear a bell that'll tell you that your time is up. At this time, I'm going to turn over the public hearing to our solicitor, Attorney William T. Jones.
Good evening. This evening, we're continuing the hearing from, as the chairman indicated, from December 9th. What we have now is an addition to our previous, for those of you that were in attendance, and I would imagine that 95% of you were not here for the first one. So just so you're aware of it, the first ordinance that was proposed dealt with adding with more clarity the data centers in our M1. Our M1 area, and the map is over there, is down near the Lackawanna River that some of you may be acquainted with, near the Dickson City Blakely line. It's several acres down in that vicinity. We presently allow for manufacturing in that area. I see Attorney May is present tonight. He was here for the first hearing, and he represented an applicant who put in 3 or better applications for data centers, and where they put them in was up in our commercial zone. Our commercial zone roughly runs from the charter school on Route 6 all the way up to the Blakely line. I don't mean to go speak for the gentleman, and I'm sure he'll speak this evening. Their position is that is an allowed use for the last 20-some years as a collection of information that is allowed in that particular area. I'm not giving the borough's position on that. The 3 applications were made for centers in that commercial area. Additionally, subsequent to that, they have also put in, we have an ROS section, and that is up near the Dickson City Scott line. We can all see the top where the power line is. They have put in an application for power plants up in that area. Power plant is an allowed use in the ROS area that's in that particular spot. What we also received, and I see they have another attorney with them, Attorney Rinaldi, tendered to the borough a proposed ordinance, which they're allowed to do under the state law, for consideration, and we gave notice that they had tendered it, and anybody can look at that also. They want to put an overlay zone. That means where you see that large ROS at the top of the mountain up near the power lines, they want to take a particular, just a certain section of that. If you were to go over near Center Street, and I'm just, so they're all going to speak, so you understand why we're here. They have maybe 800 feet or so away from the residences there, and they want to go 300 feet back from where the old Kmart was going up the hill and behind the commercial properties to put it further up on the hill. That's one of their proposals. But tonight, just so we have it for the record, we had sent out to the Times and to the Lackawanna County Solicitor's Office and to the Law Library our ordinance, which further supplemented what we originally had placed in there. I gave that to our stenographer, so she's going to mark that as an exhibit, what we had in the first one, as well as our exhibits from the first hearing. And Mr. May, I believe, had stuff from Mr. Rinaldi. I don't know if he submitted it, but maybe he'll submit it tonight. But it was at the first hearing. We have an attested copy of the ordinance. The reason why we made the amendments in December is Lackawanna County, under the state law, when we had our proposed ordinance that said go down into the M1, Lackawanna County Regional Planning Commission suggested that we add to our definition of data centers. You know, there's some other technical items in there too, but we took the comments from Lackawanna County Planning Commission, and they have since been incorporated into the ordinance that we're talking about tonight to put it down near the M1 area. It was advertised, this particular one, on December 11th, December 26th, and on January 2nd. We also supplied to the residents down in the M1 area, we sent written notice of the proposed ordinance, and some of you, I imagine, are taxpayers and residents down in that area, and I refer to it down near the Lackawanna River and the Blakely line. So they had received notices of it. I don't know if we have all in the exhibit. We'll have to supplement on that. We additionally have we had further comment from the Lackawanna County Planning Commission on that second ordinance. And then lastly, and I don't know if I presume they're going to present on their ROS, but what they're looking for, there can't be a vote on that tonight. One, there's comments from Lackawanna County Planning that the property owner may want to address, and additionally, it has not been, you have to advertise twice. We've advertised once, so everybody is aware in the community that they actually put it in, but it's not for adoption this evening. With that, we also have here Mr. Shepstone, and his office helped to do the ordinance that we originally had. He's also consulted on the amendments for it and the reasons that came out in the first hearing. We have concerns for data centers, and the purpose of this hearing, it's unlike a zoning hearing. It's not that you have to present evidence, and we have a stenographer, but we're not required to have a stenographer for this type of hearing. It's just to hear the comments from the taxpayers, you know, they own property in the municipality, and before the municipality adopts legislation, this is where they're acting in their legislative capacity. It's an amendment to the zoning ordinance. They get to hear what.
Excuse me. I apologize, but we really can't hear anything that's going on out there, and we would really like to be part of it.
Well, why don't you come in? You could come right up to the middle here.
The entire lobby is full.
Well, why don't you bring them all in? Come on in. Come on, all the way to the front. You can come all the way up.
Stand by us. Yeah, I'm just looking at a lot of people on one side. I can see a lot of houses.
No one kneel in front of you. Guys, take over up front. Anyone come sit up front? Somebody cares? Terry, the floor. I still get a whole up here.
Still 50 people in the lobby.
Do you guys mind it? Like, yeah. Everybody else.
Yeah. I can't read it. I want to. I wanted to say the tape.
Are we able to start again so everybody can hear?
Yeah, sure. We're just waiting. Yep. So there's no right. So everybody knows the rule. Okay. We're good.
Okay. So they're saying we're good in the back. We just asked that everybody try to get in. Okay, I'll review the rules that we went over this evening. Okay, just so everybody that's down in the room can hear. We're all here, taxpayers and elected officials, to gather information regarding proposed data centers and proposed zoning ordinances for such. Therefore, we ask everyone to please be attentive and listen to everyone as they're speaking and presenting information. Please hold proper decorum and do not yell out during any presentation or while someone else is speaking. Okay, we hope to have everyone get a chance to speak here at the podium. We will have to limit, obviously, the amount of time that you have at that podium to 5 minutes. And we ask that when you come up to the podium, you sign in. There's a sign-in sheet there. We'll have your name, address, phone number, and then state your name when you do come to the podium. We do have a stenographer here this evening who will be taking down all of the information, so we need that. At 7 o'clock, we have to recess this public hearing in order to open our special meeting that was announced in the Scranton Times newspaper as part of our public hearing announcement. And again, I'll turn it over to Attorney Jones, who was running the meeting and will continue to do so.
Okay, and I'll give a synopsis of what I've already mentioned. This is a continuation of the hearing from December 9th. On December 9th, the Borough heard comment on an ordinance that further clarified that in the M1 area, which is down near the river in the near the Dixon-Blakely boundary line, there's several acres down there that we already have for manufacturing, that's where data centers would be. In the interim, or around the same time, the applicant, in this case, and they're represented this evening, they put in 3 applications for data centers in the commercial area that goes on Route 6. That starts roughly where the charter school is and goes all the way up to the Blakely line. As you're taxpayers and you're aware of it, we also have a mercantile tax in this town as well as our real estate tax. That is the heart of our taxing district. Roughly 60 cents of every dollar comes out of that particular area. That's why zoning is important, and we do not have manufacturing in our commercial zones or those types of attributes. But that being said, the applicant put in, and they believe that they have the right to put in 3 collection centers on Route 6 in that area because the ordinance says I'm paraphrasing, collection of information as a use in that zone. They've also put in the ROS zone, and that's up on the top of the mountain where the power lines are. They want for power stations, which is essentially an allowed use up in that zone, has been for decades. So that's what they have in front of us. What we took comment on December 9th was the first ordinance. We received further comment from the Lackawanna County Planning Commission. Under the state law, they get to review everything. They said, can't you add some other information to the definition of a data center? We added some other items too, but that's in large part what went on. So what we did is we resent that back with that information. We sent it to the Scranton Times, we sent it to the county solicitor's office, the law library, which we're required to under our ordinance and the state law. We sent an attested copy off. That was reviewed by the Lackawanna County Planning Agency. We also sent notices to the property owners, those people that own property down, and I know that some are here this evening, in the M1 area that's down near the river. So we have that. We additionally received from the landowner, and we put an ad in the paper that we had received that. That can't be voted on tonight because under the state law, you have to advertise it twice for 2 consecutive weeks. There's other restrictions in it, but we put notice out so everybody understands. They put in what they would like to see, an amendment to the zoning ordinance that says, okay, they would like an overlay district. An overlay district means we have a large area of ROS. It starts down near Scranton and it runs all the way up to Blakely. It's up roughly where the power line is, and then it comes down and touches our commercial areas. They have proposed, at least with regard to their mapping, that it starts about 800 feet from the residential area that is in Bell Mountain. So it would be off of that, and roughly 300 feet from the commercial areas that are in that area. So that's where we're at tonight. We can take comment on the all or part of everything that's there, but what we're looking for is what we had sent out in November, our particular ordinance, as well as the amendments and supplement there too, which went out in December. And I know that the applicants are here, and maybe they could better provide information as to what they're doing. Maybe a lot of people would like to hear that. So if I may, and I don't mean to impose on you, Attorney May, if you want to address anything from what you offered at the first hearing or the second hearing, or even on these particular ordinances, that would be your prerogative. You're not required to.
Mr. Jones, any members? Can you press that button and hold it for 2 seconds? Thank you.
Mr. Jones, members of council,
I don't think it's on.
members of council and Attorney Jones, with respect to my client's position, there was no testimony that was offered at the meeting during December 9th. So we have questions that we'd like to ask with respect to the proposed M1 zoning ordinance.
Thank you.
And it's your meeting. Do you want that to be done now?
That would be fine, just for the purposes of that. This particular hearing is to hear public comment. You could ask the questions. That doesn't mean, one, that there'll be a response to the questions. And in fact, I generally counsel my clients not to respond, but if it's something that we could answer, that obviously we'll do that.
Well, the information that was provided by your consultant was that the M1 zone, it would be appropriate for data centers, at least according to the proposal that they had made. And the issues and the questions that I have with respect to the utilization of the M1 zone is, my recollection is that it's about 15 acres. And of those 15 acres, approximately 7 to 8 would be usable, because the rest would be contained within a flood zone. Is that fair?
I don't know. I'd have to have our borough engineer map that out, but you're
Well,
allowed to make that comment. I don't know if it's right.
I think that was that was at least the information that Shepstone had provided.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. We have a transcript, so I don't recall floods.
Right.
But there is a river there. I'll grant you that.
Yeah, and with respect to the proposed ordinance itself, my reading of the ordinance itself says that it allows data centers in the M1 zone. It doesn't have what would be normally and ordinarily called a repealer, or something that would in any way affect any of the other portions of the current zoning ordinance, which specifically provides for data centers in C3 and C3A zones, the commercial zones that you referred to, Attorney Jones, along the Route 6 corridor. There is no repealer. So our position would be that even if the ordinance is adopted as it is right now, it does not in any way diminish the utilization of that use in those zones. The questions I would have and the comments that I would make is, if indeed the position by Shepstone was that there was 7 or 8 acres that could be used for data centers in the M1 zone, is what familiarity they would have in the construction of data centers on 7 or 8 acres. Most of the ones that I've seen are on much larger tracts of land. The ordinance proposes a 200-foot setback from residences. If that's applied to the M1 zone, how much more does that shrink the available acreage for the creation of or construction of data centers? Electricity. The ordinance says that it should be in close proximity to high voltage, high capacity electric lines. We have an expert here who has toured the area. At least our position would be that there is no such lines, and that any of those lines would have to be brought in through residential areas. There's none that serve the M1 zone right now. And the issue would be what impact that would have upon the residences and the businesses that are there. Finally, in terms of the identification of the M1 zone, the question I would have for you folks is whether any other area of undeveloped land within the borough was considered, and specifically the C3, C3A zones, and also the ROS zone, if you're looking for someplace to place a data center. Our position, my client's position, is the use of the ROS zone would be the ideal location because it's not in proximity to any type of residences. It's in near proximity. In fact, it's bisected by the 500 kV and the 230 kV lines that are there. That there's little or no chance of development of residential areas in proximity to those high voltage lines. And that it would not have an impact upon any of the residences that would be within 300, 800 feet of that proposed area. Would not be the case for the M1 zone. So in terms of our position, those are the issues that we would have, and we anticipated that someone from Shepstone or on behalf of the borough would be able to answer those questions as to why this particular M1 zone was selected as opposed to other areas within the borough that would be much more suitable and actually much more practical with respect to the creation, construction, and maintenance of data centers. We have our expert here, Jennifer Leonard, who is familiar with the area. We would like to be able to present the information that she has concerning the suitability of our proposal versus that of the boroughs.
Is she available to give that information now?
She is.
Yeah, I think I would like to hear it.
Certainly. Yes.
Would you like me to sign in?
You just state your name.
Okay.
You gotta,
Jennifer Leonard.
And I was having some
Am I allowed
trouble
to-
with it. Yeah.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Okay, fantastic.
Ms. Leonard, would you introduce yourself to the folks in the room?
Sure.
The members of council.
Okay. Jennifer Leonard. I'm the Land Development Energy Leader for KCI Technologies. I came from our Mechanicsburg, PA office. I have 28 years in the industry doing land development and energy projects.
Ms. Leonard,
Could you get closer to the microphone?
Sorry. 28 years of experience in land development and energy projects.
Ms. Leonard, did you have the opportunity to take a look at the borough's proposed ordinance for the M1 zone?
Yes, I've reviewed the full ordinance as well as touring the area.
In terms of the size of the area to be affected, the M1 zone, if it's 15 acres, did you identify any type of physical deficiencies that would be affected, that would affect the creation of data centers?
Yeah, so there's fairly significant deficiencies on those properties. The most significant of which is the inadequacy of the existing electrical service lines that are in that area. Data centers require much more significant lines, more akin to the 500 and 230 kV lines that appear up the hill. So that would require fairly significant new utility laterals to be brought into that particular zone. The zone itself is significantly constrained by the flood maps. Those are readily available on the National Flood Hazard Ferment. So if anybody wants to take a look at those themselves, those are readily available to the public. In addition to that, the distance to the residences within the area itself are of concern, both related to the new language that indicated the 200-foot setback, which would further constrain the limited 7 acres that are available that would possibly be used for development, as well as it's almost completely surrounded by residences, and those are not typically the areas that we would look to develop a data center. Data centers are typically in commercial zones or industrial zones. They're always adjacent to the laterals. As we've pointed out, the ROS zone provides for 3 such laterals, which would be key to the development of a data center and would eliminate the need for new laterals, which would impact the community. You have the 230 kV line as well as the 500, but you also have a significant gas line in that area, all of which would be needed for data center development.
In your experience, 28 years of doing this type of work, have you ever seen a data center constructed on 15 acres?
Not in the last 10 years.
And why is that?
The data center footprints, as well as the critical issue analysis that we go over for the development of data centers, would dictate setbacks and utility corridors that would exceed the property available there for development.
Can you tell the council members whether you actually physically viewed that portion of the M1 area that they're proposing as part of their ordinance?
We did. We toured the whole area.
And have you done the same with respect to the area close to the ROS and the C3 zones?
Yes, I've toured the C3 as well as the ROS areas.
In terms of that which is proposed by our development, in terms of dealing with the creation of data centers, one versus the other, the C3 ROS versus the M1, which would be a better fit for data centers?
There really would be no strong comparison. There's no question that the C3 and the ROS zones provide the traffic adequacy, site distance, setbacks, and utilities required for the development of data centers.
And how about the proximity of residences, one area versus the other?
Right. Those areas also provide for the appropriate setbacks and additional setbacks that we may consider related to the distance of preference from residential neighborhoods.
Thank you.
Does council have any questions? I have one. How large is the facility that you're talking about? What does it look like?
When you're asking about the facility that we're talking about, are you speaking to the facilities that we've planned on the C3 areas or the ROS areas?
I'm talking about the data center.
The data center on the C3 areas. Those data centers would have about 150,000 square foot building area with the setbacks as noted in the ordinance. They would also have and have been shown to have the appropriate traffic access points and commercial entrances that would be in keeping with the requirements that have been outlined.
Do you have a picture? What do they look like? Or how tall are they?
Yeah, I didn't bring any of that information with us.
You mentioned the other one in the ROS.
Yes.
Can you describe what?
Yeah, so in looking at the ROS areas, we would look to concentrate the layout in the center of that area. That would allow us to have fairly significant setbacks from the residential zones. As you've pointed out, at least in excess of 800 feet. That also allows us to have immediate access to the 230 and 500 kV and the gas lines necessary. So it would be created similar to a campus on plateaus with setbacks and appropriate screening.
Can you develop on that land?
We sure can.
And that's for data centers?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. Do you have any other information that Attorney may want to share with the council or the taxpayers?
No, that's it, sir. Those are the comments on behalf of the developer.
Okay. Alrighty. If you want to. Yeah, I'd open it up.
And if I could, do you want any type of comment upon the proposed ordinance?
Sure.
And the reason I ask it is we have a copy. Sure. We have a copy of the agenda. We weren't sure that anything on this part of the meeting was going to be dealing with anything other than the proposed ordinance by the borough itself. And that's why I said, whatever it is that you folks would like to do in that regard, we're happy to comply with, but there's not really much structure on the agenda that I've seen posted.
If you want to offer anything, if you want to offer anything with regard to, because we've allowed your person to talk about the ROS, if you would like to describe anything in the ROS, everyone would like to hear that.
Sure, Attorney Rinaldi will take care of that.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
I want to start with that. My name is Attorney Raymond Rinaldi. I represent the developer. As Attorney May just indicated, our first presentation was with regards to the borough's proposed ordinance in the M1 area. And we've offered testimony to say why, in our opinion, that we believe that is not the best for development. We can go into further detail, but the highlights were the proximity to the housing.
Yeah, we got that.
Okay. So the next part of it, we came here on three different parts. One, to talk about the M1 zone. The next is our client has made application to place data centers in the C3 zone. Under your current ordinance, a permitted use in that C3 zone is data processing and record storage, which we can offer testimony to say basically that's what a data center is. As an alternative to that C3 proposal, to have those in there, and we have applications pending on that, we proposed and submitted an ordinance to the borough to have an overlay district in the ROS area. So we have some maps, and we could show you that ROS area, the overlay that we're looking to have implemented. If you just forgive us for a moment while we get the maps and.
I'll turn.
Yeah. So this is a picture of the overlay district highlighted in red pinkish, I guess I'll say.
Okay, for those of us that can't really see that far, if somebody could point, if you could bring that over, stay near the microphone so everybody can see. The ROS is a very large area, and I think what you're saying is that shaded area is only a portion of it. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So I'll give major landmarks here. This line I'm pointing to right now is Scranton Carbondale Highway, Route 6. The C3 area that was indicated on red on the borough zoning map is this area just above to the north or west.
For those that can't see, do you mind giving us a landmark just so we know?
Yeah, I'm going to try and do that. I'm sorry. I'm going to try and stay on the mic and point at the same time, so forgive me, I don't have pointers. So this line right here is Route 6. I don't know if anybody could see that. To the north of that, we have, let's say, Wegmans, the old Kmart, I'll call it, development on the north or westerly side. What's indicated here on just kind of what's known as, I guess, Cold Spring Road is the loop road around Wegmans. So the area that now is shaded in like a red polka dot, I'll call it, that's what we're proposing for an overlay district, which is above, just so council can see that too, which is above the C3 area. On the borough's map, it's indicated in yellow. The red area was the areas I just described previously, is the C3A area. We had indicated, we submitted proposals to have as a permitted use data centers within that red zone. But then as an alternative to that, we submitted a proposed ordinance, which we're allowed to, as Attorney Jones said, under the municipal planning code. As a developer, as a landowner, we could submit our own proposed ordinance to have data center development. So we propose it only on a portion of the ROS zone that I had indicated in red. We have Jennifer with us again today. If we need to elicit any testimony with regards to the data center development up there, once again, this is just an ordinance. It's not a submission of any plans, but it's our proposed ordinance, and we had setbacks, criteria for development, location of power lines, and the proximity that would be located away from residential properties And that's why we're proposing as an alternative to the borough's ordinance to place it in the purple area along the river that would have, as our expert has indicated, severe limitations, to place it away from everyone, up the mountain, near the power lines, up on the top there. So if there's any questions, we can gladly address those as well, Attorney Jones.
I think you said how large, do you have any pictures of what these things are gonna look like, or? What does the building look like?
It's maybe if I can get Jennifer, come up.
So again, the individual buildings would be,
Nobody can hear you.
okay, sorry. The individual buildings would be about 150,000 square feet. Height TBD. They vary based on the stack height, so I'm not trying to be obtuse in not answering that question. We haven't even determined that yet. But the typical square footage is about 150,000 square foot per building. We are talking about multiple buildings in this case that would be arranged in a campus type feel that would allow us to provide, again, appropriate roads, appropriate screening and buffering from the community. As you could see in the map that was provided, we are in the sort of center of that ROS zone. We're not up against an edge, and we're certainly not up against the residential area there.
Okay, now, only because we all read the newspapers, questions come up with regard to electricity use and water use. If you have anybody that can give us any information with regard to that, it'd be appreciated, because I'm sure everyone has.
Yeah, it's a common question that we field with regards to electricity. Electricity usage is governed by the Public Utility Commission. Any rates that are set by the Utility Commission. There's always a concern that we hear that my electricity rates are going to rise. Like I said, that's a regulated industry, so any increases in power prices are regulated by the government. With regards to water, the same issue. Any request for water has to be done through the public utility. Here, this is a service area for Pennsylvania American Water. If there was any proposal, we would look to utilize public water. We would not look to utilize like a well for that matter. So once again, a request would have to be made to that public utility for any request for any water. It's up to the utility to provide that and the conditions upon which it would be needed for development.
How much, only because I'm sure it'll just be asked later.
Sure.
How much water do you anticipate?
That's on a building design or building campus, it would be determined. And then different end users, depending on the systems that they utilize. If it's,
Okay, we'll get to where we're going. If we can, you have somebody here, if you want to consult with them.
Yes.
If you could give us an average.
yeah. Depending on the end user, if it's an air-cooled system, if it's a water-cooled system, it all depends on the end user, and that's through the development bill. So
I very much appreciate that, but I'm going to ask it, I'm sure it'll be asked repetitively. If it's water-cooled and you have a full build-out of this campus, what is the anticipated, an average, a guesstimate for water?
I wouldn't be able to calculate that, Bill.
Is anybody here that's with you?
We can't backpedal this.
Sorry, I'm going to try to provide some clarity and then a follow-up. So what I would say in general is that the data center design community is moving away from water-cooled. It is not likely, I'm not saying totally impossible, but not likely that the system would be water-cooled. Would we use water? Absolutely. It would likely be in a closed-loop system, so it may be a one-time taking in a closed-loop system. It may not be water-cooled at all. There are lots of options in the market now that weren't there just 18 months ago as far as design. We could absolutely get you a calculation with our application to provide transparency at that level. When when we even have a design. Right now, we're just trying to have a discussion with the community about where the appropriate placement would be. We haven't advanced the design, so.
One at a time, please. When they're speaking, folks, when we are having the speakers speak, we ask that you not yell out. You'll have the appropriate time to ask questions. Keep when they're done. When they're done. When they are finished, we will have the opportunity to ask questions.
Do you know how much electricity you'll be using? And if you do not know, we don't need
No, we don't
chase
know.
the grease pig around the room.
We don't know.
So what's an average? Because I can't change.
The average for a 150,000 square foot building, if you're just talking in big round numbers for the community, I would say about the same in kilowatts of power, or megawatts of power. So if it's a 150,000 square foot building, just like rule of thumb, 150 megawatts.
And how many buildings do you think that would fit on these plateaus? If you don't know.
I don't
You
know.
I'm not
We
asking
don't
you
know
to
at this
guess.
point. Yeah, we
But
don't
there'd
know.
be more than one.
Absolutely, more than one.
Casey had a question.
Okay,
Council.
we have a council has a question for you.
Sure.
Can you talk
Use the
about,
mic.
I'm sorry,
Use the mic,
I'm
yes.
sorry, yeah.
Thank you.
Can you talk about what the effects of cutting all the trees up there would be on the land below and like possibly runoff?
So, any type of development, when you disturb more than an acre of ground, requires a permit to be issued by the Conservation District, which is through DEP. It's called an NPDES permit. So any disturbance of more than an acre has to be controlled. So there can't be any stormwater runoff. Everything has to be collected. So whatever generating water is coming off the site currently, we cannot add to that. So we would have to have some type of stormwater controls, retention ponds, way to divert any water. We can't have any water leave the site that would disturb someone else's property.
So just a thought that I have, I don't know if I could call it a concern, but a thought would be that a couple of years ago, the road came up on Dundas. We had a lot of flooding in that area, Carmel, just to name another street. So I would assume if the rains were that heavy again, there would be even more significant damage to the houses up higher. And then the rubble and everything else coming to everything down low, because you're talking about the highest elevation in Dickson.
Yes, you're correct. So we'd have to do engineered design that has to be approved by the Conservation District to say, we're working in a footprint of this area. We have to collect all that water, have it retained, properly slow release, whatever the channels are, so that we don't create flooding. And those controls or regulations are set by the state.
It's making sense, but I should say I hear you, but Dundas is also a state road that I would think was also regulated, and it didn't do its job.
Okay, Mr. Robin, good. Please speak in the mic, please.
My name is Gary Wilding. I'm with KBA Engineering. I'm the Borough Engineers. The term Rinaldi has stated that there's an application within the borough limits that's pending. And to the best of my knowledge, there are no plans with that application.
No land development application, that's correct.
That's an application simply identifying the areas and looking for confirmation that the proposed buildings are acceptable in that area as a principal permitted use.
That's correct.
But we do not have any plans whatsoever.
That's correct.
Okay, it's simply a piece of paper asking for acknowledgement.
Yes.
And then my second question is, we're talking about gas, and nobody has asked about that. What is the gas used for in the buildings?
In this case, the gas would primarily be used for heating. The gas would be used for the heating and cooling system in the building and heating of water for the employees in the building. So
Not part of-
minor gas.
Not part of
use.
the product, simply
That's correct.
operation of the building.
That's correct.
Is there any other questions?
Just as a follow-up, I saw where there's a more recent application that was made. I think it was from your office, Mike, and I don't fully understand. It was asking for a zoning permit, but then it said it's for land use only. Is it a land development plan or is it a request for a zoning permit? I'm just trying to follow up with what our engineer has.
It's exclusively for a zoning permit.
Thank you.
That's all it's for.
Okay, thank you.
And everybody here, especially the professionals here, know that in terms of the order of battle, zoning has to be done first.
Transparently.
You have to have it done first before you can even step up to the plate for planning. As your engineer had talked about, that's the order of battle that you must have.
I appreciate it, but the top said zoning permit, and then I think it was at the end of the second paragraph, and it said for land use, and I'm glad Gary asked that because I needed clarity myself.
In terms of clarity, it is a request for zoning for that planned use, the intended use.
Thank you. Yes, I'm going to open it up for public comment. I don't know how you want to start on this side of the room, or how do you want to do it?
Come right to the podium.
Okay, well, if I can defer just to, we do have a planning commission person here that has been active on our commission, and Gary up first. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Wendy Jones. I live in the Belmont section of Dickson City. I just wanted to refer to Ms. Sims' question about the direct cut, clear cutting of the trees. We know that a developer up in that area has already done that and was shut down by the state. Didn't listen to any of the standards or anything, just went ahead and did whatever they wanted to do, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. So that, just because there is a rule doesn't mean it's going to be followed. And that's my concern. And again, the reason that the Planning Commission chose that particular area is because there is a water supply down there. Again, if there is any type of building on the top of the mountain, the water is going to come downhill, as we all know. Again, another reason, the commercial zone does supply correct, the mercantile tax, a great portion. I don't think a lot of people understand that. Now, we do understand that we do have to have a place for data centers, and we felt that this was the best place because it was, it was not, it wouldn't affect, at least effective, it would be least affecting people in the area. And we wanted to be able to, have the option to have a data center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Jones, thank you very much. I just want to say that Borough Council appreciates the fact of the Planning Commission recommendation. So thank you. Okay, next person, please come up to the podium.
Lori Child. I just have a question. When I was...
Hold on 1 second.
No, down. Just
Lower your microphone down to your mouth.
Oh,
Can you do me one
like
favor?
this? Okay.
And then if you could restate your name, please, for the stenographer.
And spell it.
Lori
Spell it,
Child.
please.
Spell it.
Spell it, please.
When I...
I'm sorry, can you spell your name, please? The
Oh, sure.
stenographer needs it. Thank you.
Laurieschilд.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I have read about the data centers and the massive energy and water consumption, the high carbon footprints from the fossil fuel reliance. It's straining local grids. There's noise pollution, and I'm worried about the potential health impacts that these would bring. It says that people with asthma or rare types of cancer have been found near and around data centers. And I'd also like to know, how is that going to impact the value of our homes that we have worked so hard for? And a lot of the infrastructure upgrades are often subsidized by the taxpayers. I'm sorry, I do not want my tax dollars that I pay a lot for to go into that. Thank you.
Good evening, Tim Fleiterer. My concern, I live on Bell Mountain. I'm the highest house on that mountain next to where your data centers are going. I had a friend that had a house for 40 years right down in Berwick next to where they put that data center next to the power plant. 40 years he lived there. He had to move because he couldn't sleep. He couldn't even walk outside because of the noise. So your ordinance, my question, does your ordinance give a decibel maximum at a certain location away from that data center? I spent today looking for property outside of Dickson City because I found out about this morning on the news. It wasn't anywhere, it was in the Times. Who gets the newspaper anymore? I have no idea that this was even going on, and it's right next to my house. I am the highest house on Bell Mountain. Kmart is not even an eighth of a mile away from my house. You're sitting there saying, well, we're away from the residents. I am that residence. I'm that person. But you're building want to build that data center in, and you're going to run me out of Dickson City. Because I am not going to have that kind of noise. Not to mention the value of my property. Is your client going to buy my property when I got to move? At a fair value. No. That's a residential area up there, and it was all the way back to Kmart zoned residential, a couple years ago, because they were going to put in that big residential complex. Now we're putting in data centers? Wait a second. This is not right. And you did let the people around the M1 area know, but us up there on Bell Mountain got no notification at all that this was going on. None. Zero.
If I can address that with regard to any voting, there wouldn't be any for this overlay district. The ad that was in the newspaper was notification that they had placed that. It's down here in the borough, everything that they've talked to, it's to let everybody know. If we were going to actually vote on an overlay, we would advertise it twice in the newspaper of general circulation. We would also post the property, it'd be on the trees, and we would send a letter just like we sent out the 16 letters to everybody down in the M1 so they would get it. What Borough Council wanted everybody to know is that they have placed it and that they have actually said they want it to go up on the ROS area, and that's once again the large swath that's up near the power lines.
Which is next to my house. I live right below the 230 line. I live less than an acre away from that 230 line.
No, I got that. What I'm trying to explain is we're going above and beyond. We let everybody know that that was even down here, and the borough did not advertise it twice, didn't post it, didn't send the letters because they're not entertaining that. They do want everybody to realize, one, that they've made an application down in the commercial zone, and that's where the Circle Drive-In is, and that's where roughly the whatever the McDonald's are, et cetera, and going up there. That's where their first position whether we agree or disagree, I'm sure we do not agree, but their position is that's for collection processing, that's where they're allowed to go. If they buy those properties, they take those down, and they believe that it's their position, they could put them, to Ms. Jones's point, that means your taxes go up because 60 cents of every dollar that we roughly get in taxes comes from a mercantile tax. As far as we would, I don't know whether that would fit, or I guess we'll litigate that, whether their transactions would fit under that. But I believe that, like say Wegmans, say that were to be taken out of there, and under their proposal, they're saying that they have the right to put it there. We lose the gross receipts. I think that's the second largest taxpayer, not only real estate tax, but it's the mercantile tax. So that's why their first proposal, where they're saying is the borough placed collection of processing there. What they're saying now with their ROS is they're going up the top. I know that impacts property, and I don't know if Attorney Rinaldi can do it. Can you identify how far would you be away in your overlay area from, say, this? I'm going to call it Center Street.
That little neighborhood right there, your red's there, that's next to my house. So you're not away from
I don't mean
residential.
to, you don't have to answer by any means, but I'm wondering, is there a setback?
I'm here to address, if I can, Mr. Jones. So I'm not familiar with where you live, sir, but
I can show you on the map.
I understand that, but if you just let me,
I'm from GJ.
if you just let me answer, I will answer it. The proposal under our ordinance, I believe, is 200 feet, Bill, away from any property line.
My backyard.
No. Why don't you?
Okay, if you look at this development,
Yes.
my house, this is McLean Street, my house is up right there.
Sir, you're saying your
My
house is in
house,
the red?
if I look, right, let me get my bearings up
Take
here.
your time.
Yep.
Take your time.
Up, over. This is McLean Street.
Yes.
I own that little piece of property, and I own that piece of property.
Okay.
You are my backyard.
I understand. So we're talking only in the red. That's
Which is my backyard.
I understand that. But then in our proposed ordinance, we have setbacks of at least 200 feet from this.
The noise of your data center, I won't even sleep at night.
Well,
Okay, Attorney Rinaldi.
Now, one question, then I'll leave.
No, I'd like a follow-up, because I'm looking at, unless there's a different exhibit that you gave to the municipality, and I don't want to be misquoted.
Yes.
When I scaled this out, I show you roughly 700 feet away from those houses. You're saying you're only 200 feet?
No.
Bill, my submission there, I'm going off of memory. So if I have indication of 700 feet on that map, that's the indication that we
Is
have.
there anybody here that can identify it?
That red zone is right on my property line.
I don't disagree that the zone is up to that line, but in our proposed ordinance, as Mr. Jones indicated, we have a setback greater than that. So,
Yeah, but does anybody know, is it 200 feet or is it 700? If you don't know, please don't.
no, Bill, I'm confusing the two ordinances. Under your ordinance, where you wanted it in the M1 zone, you had 200 feet. Under our proposed, we have 800 feet from a property line.
And I assume you're in Bell Mountain.
I'm right on Belmont. I'm
So
the highest
how
house
far are
up
you
there,
away from
except
his
for
house is what he wants to know.
Where he's indicated, I don't know where the physical location of his house, but from his property line.
Yes.
Right.
Which is right, well, about 20 feet or 30 feet from my house.
So we're saying 800 feet from that property line, Bill. Mr. Jones. 800 feet.
Yeah.
My last question, if I could, does your new ordinance that you're proposing give a decibel amount outside that building, and how far can that decibel number be for noise?
So Tom, you can answer that one for the M1, correct?
Yeah. Stand up there, everybody can hear me.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, just for the record, Mr. Shepstone is the borough planner.
The ordinance that's proposed would have the noise standards that apply to every other use in the community applied to this use.
Which is
Well,
decibels
I
and
don't have it
distance.
in front of me, but
Okay.
there's a decibel limit, and it varies depending on the octaves and so on. So there's a definite noise standard that applies, and it'll apply to any use in the borough, period.
Okay,
So
thank you.
again, can your client buy my house, because my house is gonna be worth nothing?
Sir,
Thank
come
you.
on over. Thank you.
Hello, my name is David Mates, DAVIDMATES. I appreciate that there is a noise ordinance that's going to be put in place for this. However, what is not being adequately looked at is this is not a typical business. This is a 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year operation. This ordinance is typically, at least in general, set for standard business hours, Monday through Friday, maybe 7, 8, 9 to 5 to 6, what have you. This is going to be running 24/7. This noise, and you can find this information freely online, routinely disrupts people's sleep patterns, routinely gives people anxiety issues. Beyond that, we have this energy that was so skillfully evaded by these folks is typically about as much as an entire city, hundreds of thousands of people. From a data center, they want 3. The water that they are either going to de-water from a well or take from a river is our fresh drinking water, from what I understand. Again, this is all found online. The fact that everybody who, if you look online, every state that has these, Arizona, California, I believe Louisiana, and especially Indiana, are getting demolished by these data centers. Their lands are taken, their water is taken, their ability to actually find information is erased, because once these data centers are put in place, local governments, local authorities all sign NDAs. So if they go up and they ask for questions, they can't answer. This is what's going to happen. Ultimately, I have 2 children, a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old. I just want a show of hands who has children.
Mine are here.
Who is going to be comfortable looking their children in the eye on a 7-degree night like last night and say, sorry kids, we can't stay warm tonight, the data centers needed our energy. I cannot tell my child, my children, I'm sorry kids, we cannot take a shower for the next week, the data center needed our water. I am a strong no for the data centers, and I think I speak for a lot of people here.
Hi, my name is Matt Parmenteri, spelled Parmenteri. I'm an engineer. I have a good understanding of how much energy and water these systems normally need to operate. I develop electronic equipment for the Navy, very similar to what is required for this, and I'm very concerned about how much resources these use. Now, obviously, this is early planning. We don't have specifics on what these buildings are going to need, and that is understandable from an engineering sense. What I would really encourage to be done, not that I have any doubt that you will, I just want it on the record that I think this should be done, is to understand how much energy, how much water, how much resources these buildings will need, and what the percentage use is compared to a baseline such as right now. I think it will be immediately apparent that this is not something that is going to be sustainable for our community. The other portion of this that concerns me is, as they've pointed out, the utilities are regulated. That is outside of everyone in this room's control. These companies can afford to just eat the fines. I would highly encourage everyone in this room to make sure we try and hold the state and federal governments accountable for things like that. That is a whole different conversation. But once these things are in place, they're going to do whatever they want, because any fines that we can then put on them is just the cost of doing business. We cannot stop this once they are in. So before we agree to anything, whether the zoning goes through or anything, make sure that we have a dictated plan of exactly what they are allowed to use, when they're allowed to use it, and how they're going to be using it. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Robert Holzman, ROBERT, HOLZMAN. I'll try to make this quick because I think a lot of other people want to speak, and I want to thank council for letting me speak. My question is for council. Under Pennsylvania Municipal Code 603, can the municipality identify on the record the estimated amount of daily water usage of a data center compared to what the current capacity is of where this water is going to be coming from for those data from that water source today?
At this time, no.
Okay, so that has not been done?
At this time, we'd have to ask the borough engineer.
Okay, excellent. Is the borough engineer here?
Borough engineer is here.
Do they have that answer?
That answer, yes.
We don't have the plans, we have no specifics.
Okay, so that hasn't been attributed into the zoning as of this point, if I understand correctly. Okay, thank you. The other question I have is, I'm sorry, what was your name, sir?
My name's Mike May.
Mike May, sorry, I didn't hear it at first. Okay, so I didn't know about this meeting until just very recently. So, my question is about what Mr. May talked about earlier on today is the usage of the power on Bell Mountain, if I understand correctly. So my question is this new usage of power kind of like a spot zoning or a de facto zoning? Meaning specifically, was that land originally zoned for uses for the public to receive that energy and not for one specific source or one specific entity to be using that energy?
I don't know if the gentleman could answer that, but I presume it's under the PUC.
I'm not 100% sure whether I understand what you're asking. It's zoned an ROS zone right now.
Okay.
On top of the mountain. Below that, the C3 and C3A zones are for commercial purposes. Any development, regardless of what happens, requires, under the borough's subdivision and land development ordinance, it requires a developer to go to those utilities and obtain what's called will serve letters, meaning we would like X number of gallons of water, X number of kilovolts of electricity delivered. And they have to do an analysis and determine whether their systems are sufficient to be able to deliver that without impeding any type of delivery to the rest of the public. That's the analysis that has to be done in land planning. In zoning, that's not something that gets done.
Okay. And I guess, sorry, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that. So I guess my question is in my opinion, it seems like the power sources on that mountain were originally zoned for use for the public. Adding additional power in there, there's only so much power that can go through any transmission lines. I've lived on the West Coast for 15 years, and I live next to one of Google's largest data centers. At one point in time, 80% of anything you search for on the internet was stored in this building in the Dalles, Oregon. The problems that they have there are they can't get enough power out of the gorge to appease some of the data centers, some of the other players from California that are who are legally obligated to receive the electricity. So then it becomes more complicated, more sticky. You run into situations where people are now fighting over who gets the power. So I guess my question is, probably even specific to zoning, is how would we allow a new player to come into this if there's not a feasibility study done first to find out where the energy consumption can go and what it was originally zoned for. But anyway, yeah, I just want to get that on the record. One last thing, I think there's a lot of people here tonight. I'm a little concerned that not everyone's going to get an opportunity to speak. So would there be the possibility, if people don't get to speak by 7 o'clock, that they can do a written comment, or we can extend this to a different date?
We can talk about that after the 7 o'clock meeting.
Awesome, thank you guys for your time.
To address the one comment, sir, before you walk away, if you did look at the Scranton Times and you saw up at Archbald, they did have the study finally come out after their zoning ordinance was already passed. And it looks like that energy building that they put up, which creates all that electricity from gas, natural gas, one of the biggest in the country, can't even give them enough wattage for the data centers up in Archbald. So what's going to happen?
Hi, my name is Leandra Nash. It's Leandranash. I'm a current resident of Dickson City. Sorry, can you hear me now? Okay. My name is Leandra Nash. I'm a current resident of Dickson City, and I want to thank the council for allowing us time to speak. I'd like to start out with a rhetorical question of why Dickson City, or why have communities like ours been chosen by data developers to be used for these types of projects? Do they consider us to be worth investing for future technologies, or do they see us as booming towns? Because the real reason why these companies are choosing places like us is not to invest in the community or to boost the local economy. They see us as a dumping ground, a place where they see us as a place where they can put these ugly, polluting, energy-wasting monstrosities so that they can increase their profit margins while those who live around them suffer the consequences. I could reiterate what the concerns that everyone here has, such as an increase in utility costs, the strain on the power grid, the risk of water contamination, and the light, sound, and air pollution, but I want to focus on public health in our community. In Oregon, there is a town called Boardman. That town has a population that is generally similar to Dickson City. In 2021, an AI data center was built by Amazon Web Services, which is the company that is currently investing in Pennsylvania's AI data centers. Since 2021, the residents there have seen a shocking increase in health issues, such as forms of cancer, childhood illnesses, and miscarriages. In fact, in a survey that was taken of 30 homes that are located within a 3-mile radius of data centers, 25 of the 30 families have suffered at least one miscarriage in the past 5 years since the data center began its operations. This follows a pattern that has been seen across the country in every community where these data centers have been built. Governor Josh Shapiro, as well as many other state representatives, Democrats and Republicans alike, have said that AI data centers are necessary for Pennsylvania's future. I am thinking about the future, but I'm not thinking about next fiscal quarter or the next yearly tax revenue. I'm thinking about 5 years from now, when Dickson City residents are suffering from more health issues and coming to you for help. The developers want you to think about the short-term gains while ignoring the long-term consequences. You can tell us that you'll find the company or sue them when these inevitable health consequences happen. But memos that have been leaked from Amazon corporate offices show that they have environmental violation fees and victim settlement payouts built into their budgets. I'm not saying we can't have progress or development right here in Dickson City, but we should stand up with other communities across the country who have said that their lives are worth more than tax revenue increases, that their lives, the lives of our children, and the environment around us are worth protecting. We are worth slowing down and taking a more cautious perspective on what the future could bring. We are worth it.
Amen.
Hello. Good evening, Attorney Jones, members of council. My name is Melissa Howerton, MELISSA HOWERTON, and I'm a resident of Dickson City. I'm here to respectfully oppose the proposed zoning amendment that would permit large-scale data centers facilities within the residential open space district. As proposed, this amendment does not adequately protect the public health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Dickson City, and is not supported by the necessary environmental, infrastructure, and legal analyses. I understand that council is considering 2 approaches to data centers, allowing them as a special exception in light manufacturing districts, or permitting them by right through a data center overlay district. I understand the concern about exclusionary zoning, but Pennsylvania law does not require data centers to be permitted by right or placed in residential open space districts. And the council retains discretion to require case-by-case review in appropriate industrial zones. I've heard it said that we have to put it somewhere. Why? That's not supported by Pennsylvania law. Further, while special exception review preserves case-by-case analysis, public hearings, and meaningful oversight, the proposed overlay district would allow industrial data centers to be approved administratively without the same level of public review or discretionary evaluation. That loss of procedural safeguards is of significant concern. Data centers are not light commercial uses. They're industrial facilities that operate, as others have said, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, requiring large electrical substations, diesel backup, generator fields, constant mechanical cooling systems, significant water usage, and ongoing heavy infrastructure and service access. That type of development brings serious impacts that are not compatible with open space zoning or nearby residential neighborhoods. There are environmental and health impacts, and I won't belabor the group as others have echoed, noise and quality of life, traffic and infrastructure strain. They require large truck deliveries, construction traffic, and long-term service access. The results in additional congestion, road deterioration, and increased municipal burden. Also, who ends up bearing the cost? These facilities often require substantial upgrades to water, electrical, roadway, and roadway infrastructure. Residents deserve transparency before making decisions, whether taxpayers or utility ratepayers will ultimately bear those costs. Further, recently, the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection listed Lackawanna County in a drought watch status, as we are, with no additional drains on our resources. What is this going to do to our natural resources? I've reviewed the borough's recent meeting records, including our December 9th minutes and January 13th agenda. Those records show that the residents raised concern. The ordinance was not enacted and referred to the borough solicitor for further legal review. I respectfully request that the borough solicitor's legal findings be made publicly available before a vote on this amendment. As a parent raising a 10-year-old son in this borough, I want to be sure that any zoning change allowing heavy industrial development near residential areas has been fully evaluated for its long-term environmental, health, and community impacts. Our families deserve transparency, due process, and protection. For all of these reasons, and for the record, I object and respectfully ask council to deny or table this ordinance until a full environmental, infrastructure, and legal review can be completed and shared publicly. And one last little tidbit, please, if you will humor me. I've heard it said that this protects our tax base, and I don't disagree with you. However, I'd like to point out that tax revenue is not a lawful basis for zoning decisions under Pennsylvania law. Zoning must be grounded in public health, safety, welfare, and planning consistency.
Amen.
And I have a formal letter objection that I would like entered for the record, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Amy Mancuso, AMY, MANCUSO. I'm not going to stand here pretending that I know half of what has been said here. I've spent a couple days on Facebook, listened to a few articles, and I'm going to let the professionals, as they've been called, eat at my ignorance. Take advantage of my ignorance, if you will. So I've been sold on why this is bad. I understand those impacts. Sell me, professionals, on what is good.
Thank you, Ms. Mancuso.
I just want to know, it was an accurate
This will-
description of what's good.
This will be our last question, and then we'll be going into our meeting.
Hi, my name is Suzanne Morgan, SUZANNEMORGAN. I'm a lifelong resident here in the borough. And I just want to address some questions. First of all, I don't know how we can do any zoning when we don't have facts, but I just want to address the question about the water usage. Okay? Wildcat Ridge is saying that they would use about 598,000 gallons a day. They said, but in the summer, that could go up to 3.3 million gallons of water a day. So now, and this is in the newspaper, and by the way, some of us still get the newspaper. I'm old school, sorry. But then we have Project Gravity, who said, oh, we'll use 380,000 gallons a day. They didn't say what they might use in the summer, in the heat, but if you use the same 453% increase as what Wildcat Ridge said, between the two, we're looking at 5.5 million gallons a day, just between the two. So I don't know if collectively, if the valley is even looking at what they're drawing out on water. And that water is coming from, they're telling us that the water is coming from Lake Scranton. Lake Scranton supplies drinking water to 13 municipalities, again, according to the Scranton Times. So at one point in the summer, when I walked along the trail, I thought to myself, geez, I could walk across the Lackawanna River and not even get my feet wet because you could walk across the rocks. That's how low the water table was. My other concern is some of them are thinking, well, we'll pull from the mine aquifer. And I'm thinking to myself, well, just what we need, more subsidence, okay? That affects the stability of the rock underneath our homes. So I just wanted to kind of bring that to people's mind. When we're just between two data centers, we're talking potentially over 5.5 million gallons of water per day. According to the paper, it was like 2,300 gallons per minute, where the average household would use 380 gallons per day. So that gives you some perspective about the amount of water that they're looking to use. So thank you. I putting on the record, I too object to the data center.
If we can, please, everybody stay put. We're going to just momentarily recess this hearing because it's almost 7 o'clock for our meeting. What I would suggest to council, since we're nowhere near the end of comment period, that we just momentarily recess this hearing. Our meeting was supposed to, the meeting was supposed to start at 7, so we have another minute to go. And the motion would be to continue the public hearing to February 12th at 5:30 p.m. for all data center ordinances, including but not limited to the proposed Borough Ordinances 1 and Borough Ordinance 2 for the M1 district, and a public meeting for 7 p.m. I'd have to add 7 p.m. I don't know if you want to make it 7:30 for that, because maybe we won't even be through with that. But does everybody understand what we're doing? We're just going to recess for like 30 seconds to continue the, well, actually, let's see what we're going to do. We're just going to open the meeting, and we're going to recess the meeting to a time certain. Maybe we'll make it 8 o'clock, and if we have to reopen. No, I don't want to continue. We're going to still have the hearing now, so let's amend it. So the motion would be to open this meeting, and then we're going to recess the meeting itself to 8 o'clock, and then we're going to come back to continue the public hearing. Do you think we'll be done in an hour, or do we need to make it 8:30? Yeah, well, we'll just do the same thing again at 8 o'clock, because everybody wants to speak, and we want to give you the opportunity. So with that, we're going to just open recess the hearing for opening the public meeting. Go ahead, you want to open the public meeting?
Attorney Jones, is council going to vote upon the agenda item tonight? No? Okay. Just so the record is clear, there's no vote that's going to be taken tonight on the agenda item. Is that correct?
I can't speak for council when they come back at 8 o'clock if they were to vote on that, but I can't imagine we're going to get through all the public comment, including any comment you would like to add. I imagine you may want to supplement also, right?
I don't know. I'm just asking for clarity procedurally what council is going to do.
They're just going to recess the public meeting to a time certain, 8 o'clock tonight. We're going to reopen it, and they're either going to adjourn the meeting or recess the meeting to a time certain along with the hearing. But we want to, everybody's here, so we're going to hear from them.
And appropriately so. The only question is, you've advertised that a vote is going to take place. If you're going to postpone that to 8 o'clock, perfectly fine.
Fine. Thanks, not that we needed that, but thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. We'd like to welcome everyone to a special meeting of Dickson City Borough Council. At this time, if everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, everyone. At this time, we'll have roll call of attendance.
Mrs. Kanya? Here. Mr. Cesare? Here. Mr. Horvath? Here. Ms. Sims? Ms. Sims? Here. Mr. Brzezinski? Here. Mr. Hall?
Here.
Mr. Kowalewski?
Here. At this time, I'd like a motion to recess the regular scheduled the special meeting that we have until 8 o'clock this evening.
Want to make it 8:30?
Make it 8 o'clock this evening.
Right.
Recess till 8 o'clock this evening.
I'll make that motion, Mr. President.
We have a motion by Mr. Hall.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Horvath. Anyone have a question? The roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Horvath?
Yes.
Mrs. Kanya? Yes. Mr. Cesare?
Yes.
Ms. Sims? Yes. Mr. Brzezinski? Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Kowalewski?
Yes, motion carries. We'll recess this meeting till 8 o'clock and we'll go back into our public hearing at this time. So anybody else who has comments that would like to make those comments, we ask you to come forward to make your comments or have your questions. Thank you.
They're doing public hearing now. At 8. At 8? Now! They're doing public hearing now!
That was all procedural so we can continue the hearing, just so everybody understands.
Okay. If you can, ma'am, if you could write your name and then give it to the stenographer.
Christina Larioni, Christina, Larioni, Larioni. I just have a question for council. We keep hearing that we have to allow data centers somewhere in the borough. Can someone answer me why? Why is that something being said throughout the borough here?
If I can, there is some case law that says if you don't provide for a use, that you've excluded the use, and I don't want to sit here and educate people that actually make their living in the same areas, but there is a appellate case law. That means cases above the county court that says if you don't provide for a use, that landowners can then exercise what rights they want.
So Jessup just denied theirs completely. So help me understand this, please.
This is what took place for the limited, Jessup provides, Jessup Borough's position is that they provide for that use in a zone up near the Invenergy, whatever it is, the Invenergy plant. They're saying they provide for it up there. Where they denied it was in a different zone, which they actually allowed it in that zone, but it was a collateral use, and what they said was an accessory building that was in a residential area. So what they did is they said you should go up the top of the mountain. You know, they don't have an ROS, they have whatever they have an Invenergy up there. They said that's where we permit them. So they said you can't have it down here in the
Thank you for
whatever
clarifying
that road
that.
is. I don't.
So again, we're looking and it's already zoned. We also don't allow that. So why do we need to change the ordinance to allow it?
What their position is they're saying we do allow that zone. We allow that in our commercial area, and they actually have put in a plan that says they want to put one because it says they're saying we provided for it, where it says information, a collection of information processing on Route 6, and they'd be more than happy just to put them there right now. So they're saying that's where we provided for them. What we're saying is we're providing with these ordinances, we're saying down near the river, and they take issue with that.
Thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, my name's Celine Nash, CELINENASH. I had a whole speech, I won't lie, but I'm gonna pretty much scrap it just because one of you, I believe it was you, I'm so sorry I didn't get your name.
Raymond Rinaldi.
Raymond Rinaldo said, Rinaldi, sorry, away from everyone up on the mountain. We are on the mountain. You can't be away from everyone up on the mountain. It's gonna trickle down. My degree is in forestry. You cut the trees, everything is gonna come down. The trees have been found to be the only thing holding in landfills, protecting people from landslides over and over again. We saw what happened when Walmart got crumbled by the landslide up on the mountain. You want that to be the entire town? Listen, from where I am, I'm up on Bell Mountain, not super high up. I have a beautiful view of the trash dump. And every summer, I get the smell of it. And now I get to get more pollution, noise pollution, from the top of the mountain. We've said noise pollution 100 times. I don't think anyone's touched on the echo that this mountain has. Yes. The echo that the whole valley has. You hear one kid yell at VFW, you hear it on the other side. Everyone is going to hear the constant buzzing and beeping. It is against your own sleep. We have found time and time again that when your sleep is disturbed, not only anxiety, but other mental illnesses, horrible hysterics. People will lose their minds. And I have a quote from Business Insiders who did an investigation at one of the towns that had an AI data center right by a residential area. And the people said, I cannot sleep, I cannot breathe, and I am losing my mind. If you want an entire town of people to not sleep or breathe and everyone to lose their mind, then go ahead. Then it's a great idea. I know, listen, I don't have kids. A couple people here have kids, probably actually the majority. What I do have is a disabled mother who has severe asthma. She got that from the coal mines here. That's bad enough already. If we want more lung issues, cancer of the lungs, cancer of all sorts of types, rare cancers as someone mentioned earlier, then go ahead. But personally, I think it's a horrible, disgusting idea to even think to put it on anywhere in Dickson City, let alone on the mountain, where we won't... I think it's clear I oppose this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. Judith Senkow Richards, Judith, S as in Sam, E, N as in no, KOW hyphen Richards, like Keith. I have one question. We get the data center in, it catches fire, something like that. What does it do to our volunteer fire department, our emergency services, our police department that may have to respond to crime up there? We're already it's a volunteer department, so it's kind of tough to get people out. That's just my question, just regarding that issue alone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Sheila Carluccio, Carluccio. I have a little video right here of the noise the data centers make 24/7. I live in Westwind Manor. Route 6 is here. The mountain that they're talking about is right here. My house is right by, most people know, some people know where my house is. I think it was a summer or two ago, the drive-in had bands. And I could hear the bands so bad that I couldn't sit in my yard. That was for a couple of hours on a Friday night. This would be 24/7. I don't think I could live there anymore. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Helena Shashila, Helayna Szescila, and my question's for council. So given the fact that our strategic plan that you all put in place as council members is all about revitalization and bringing Dickson City back to life and bringing in more residents, how do these zoning changes and the proposal to add data centers align with that plan?
When you look at that strategic plan, because I did go look at it, just to be sure, and there's nothing specific for it, nothing specific against it in that plan. Economic development, we know that would not happen.
Correct.
Right?
Beautification that you call out.
Well, beautification,
bringing
correct.
more people
Absolutely.
to the area, pumping up the businesses in our downtown.
Correct.
You've been trying so hard to do that over the last several years.
Yeah.
This is going to destroy all of the work of the council members put in to date. So I would hope that considering this, you would consider what you all put forth to us as your community, as your constituents that voted you in, that we trusted to protect all of us and our children. How does it align?
As I said, there's nothing listed in there at all, okay,
No.
for that. There was 2 years ago, this wasn't even on our radar,
I know.
as you know, and everybody else. And that's the reason why we're talking about zoning and where, if anywhere, that we could put this.
If anywhere, it's not necessary. We don't have to allow it. I want to be on the record that I object as a resident of Dickson City for myself and behalf of my entire family.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Jamie Rodriguez. I lost my father 4 years ago of brain cancer. I don't want a selfish corporation to be the reason why someone like me did not have their father walk them down the aisle 4 months ago when I got married. I don't think this is a good idea. I'm really, really paranoid about something that could be causing cancer to kids, to people in our society. I just moved here just a year ago and I love it here. Actually, I saw the owner of Happy Valley. That's my favorite restaurant. And I'm just so in love with this area, and I'm so in love with the man that brought me to this area that I just cannot fathom something like this happen. My mom and I fought a giant corporation also that was trying to put in power lines in my small hometown of Otisville, New York, and we won. So I'm just saying that I'm proud of the people here that are sticking up for themselves, because that's what it's going to take. So thank you for allowing me to speak, and I am objecting this to go into my new home. Thank you.
My name is Rodney Cizik, C-I-Z-I-K. Dickson City, PA. 1 block up from Center Street. My question is on your opening.
Speak into the mic a little bit better so everyone can hear you.
I should know better.
Thank you.
That's as high as it goes, I guess. Could you hear me now?
Yes.
A little bit too tall for her. On your opening statement, Center Street was mentioned, and I live 400 feet up from Center Street. I lived there for 65 years, and I lived on Bell Mountain for 86 years. And I witnessed a lot in my lifetime. I noticed in our area we had Marjal Battery Company. It tainted a lot of people's lives. A lot of people died from cancer. We also had the sanitary landfill, Louis D. Naples sanitary landfill. One day I had a little time on my mind, and I was coming down the road, and I looked over to my left, and I seen a building there, and a friend of mine was with me. And I says, hey, Henry, what are those buildings over there for in that terminal? He says, you don't know? He says, that's where they sanitize the garbage before they take it to Louis D. Naples sanitary landfill. That's sugarcoating, isn't it? So my concern is, I live, like I say, 400 feet up from Center Street, and that was mentioned, is that a proposed site for one of these data centers in that area?
They have a proposal in an ROS that's not in front of council. Once again, we put it out for informational purposes. From the properties in that vicinity, I think Attorney Rinaldi said he's about 800 feet away. The ROS zone is a large zone. They have an overlay, which just means they want to use a section of that, and it's approximately, and it's an approximation off of their submission, about 800 feet from the property lines that are in the vicinity of Center Street. And I think it's 200 or 300 feet, it's away this way, and then 200 or 300 feet away from the commercial properties on Route 6. I think that's what he had indicated, and he's shaking his head yes, so I think that's what he said.
I can't get a clear picture of where that would be.
Oh, who has the map, if you want to re-show that.
So the area in red, sir, is the area that we're proposing. So just to give you some landmarks, this is the Wegmans here.
Oh, yes.
Okay. This is the loop road around Wegmans, let's say, McDonald's, generally in that area?
Yes.
So you're gonna have to show me kind of where you're at, and then I can.
Right there I live.
Okay, so the gentleman here before, he said he owned this property. We would be 800 feet away from this line here. So I don't know the distance, I don't have a scale. I think it's very large, sir.
Okay, okay, I understand that.
So if you're here, that at least 1,500 feet away from where you're indicating your residence is.
Okay, now my question, sirs, attention, please. According to that, I don't know how many people that's here realize what kind of streets we have on Bell Mountain. I live on a road that's about 50 feet wide, maybe 40. And there's places that are narrower than that. There's big inclines from Center Street down Laybourne Street to the power plant. And if there's like heavy truck traffic or any kind of traffic there, it would be not a really good, safe place to be. So I'm concerned about that part. And I am, like to go on the record, I am strictly against the centers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Robert Carluccio, C-A-R-L-U-C-C-I-O.
First start out with, you realize that this room is 50 feet long. That's only 4 times this room, which is nothing, completely nothing. The video that my wife showed you before, the noise is horrendous. Well, I would like to know why it is only up to the council to vote and not the public to vote. We voted you in. Why can't we vote you to have this here or not? As you guys have nothing to do with it. I don't understand the concept of that.
The state legislature, that's the Senate and the House, and then the governor signed a law, and it's called the Municipalities Planning Code, and they said a municipality can have zoning. You know, you're not required to have it, but you can have it. Dickson City elected to have zoning. In that same state law, it says that the municipality, and they can have a planning commission, and we have a planning commission, that they can adopt a zoning ordinance. So we've adopted a zoning ordinance. That same state law says if you want to amend the zoning ordinance, then the governing body, that's the council, together with the mayor, have to pass an ordinance, and they're the ones that have it. They don't, that's just the way that the senators and the House and the governor set that up. We don't have any discretion on that whatsoever. What it does say is you send it to our planning commission. Our the first ordinance that you saw came through the planning commission to the council. The second one came out because we had one public hearing, and the Lackawanna County Planning said, roughly add this to your definition. So that's why we did it a second time, because the planning commission from the county had that particular input. So that's why we're here today, because that's what the state law says.
Okay, so if you guys do have a decision, are you listening to us?
Oh, yes. The purpose of this is before they vote on anything, that the public gets to voice their particular concerns. What we're here with tonight is their position is we have allowed that for decades in the commercial zone. They've put in an application to build 3 of them in the commercial zone that's up on Route 6. Council's position is that if they were looking at this, or rather plannings, is it's more appropriate down near the river in an M1 on that. If council says no, they don't want it in the M1, they wouldn't vote for that. They'll do whatever else. I'm sure what the applicant will do, will pursue whatever they think their rights are in the commercial area for that. You know, there's a thing called the pending ordinance doctrine, and Mr. May has at the last hearing believes that their applications are in before council advertised. It's advertising in the newspaper, that first ordinance, and if he's correct, he's saying, I don't have to go to the M1. He says he can go into the commercial area. That would be for a court to decide. Our zoning officer had rejected that application for a zoning permit, and if that is correct, which I believe it is, then that means the pending ordinance doctrine applies, and that would put them down near the river in an M1 zone. If council does not, and we saw this happen in Archbald, they did not adopt the ordinance. They don't have any issue with that. They would love this not to go to be adopted in it. I don't know what they would like. I don't mean to speak for them. But from a legal perspective, if it doesn't go to the M1 zone, they would prefer to go to court to say they could put it in the C zone. So the pending ordinance doctrine would not apply. So that's...
Anywhere you put it, it's a mile away is going to be horrendous noise. No matter how much you think it's not, go to visit one. Go visit one. You'll hear it for a mile away. And it's annoying, really bad. So I don't understand why no one can understand that.
Well, your point is well taken. Go visit one. No, I take it, and I believe in the input for this evening. I also recognize what Mr. May has said is He does not believe that he is required to go to that M1 zone. He's also said, I don't think I can build in that M1 zone. He believes and said that he has the right to go into the C zone.
But any zone doesn't matter. It's not just that, it's anybody who lives within a mile or two of the whole facility, not just a block or 200 feet. It's any place in that much of a distance.
Yes.
This is just like a long time ago, a few years back, we had a flood down Huntington Drive, right across from down Route 6, going down. It went into the plot down below, massacred people's buildings unbelievably. And that was because they clear cut Mr. Mulch and other stuff above. This is the same type of thing with the noise. It's no different.
Yes, we went to court against Mr. Mulch and we prevailed in that particular matter. But once again, and I don't mean to presume or infringe, they have their rights. Once again, an applicant may not want it in the M1. They may prefer to say they'll take their chances in the C1 zone. I don't know why they offered, but I think they offered to move it away from the C zone further on to the mountain. Maybe that was an accommodation. Maybe they don't think they could prevail in the C zone. This is not the jurisdiction for that, but to everyone's point, they will pursue their rights, and if they say that we're exclusionary, they will go under that same state law and pursue whatever rights they think that they have. And we will bring out to the fact that the comments that were made this evening, but a judge will ultimately decide if it's litigated, what those zoning, the actual tenets of law, apply to it. The council's being, and I think y'all appreciate that, they're proactive in trying to provide for this zone in an area which they believe is appropriate. Our planning looked at it as being appropriate in the M1 zone. It's also a special exception in the M1 zone, so they can try to address, they have to address light, noise, and traffic concerns that are on there. So that's where it would go, and that's if council passes it in an M1 zone. We all saw what Archbald went through. I know Mr. Rinaldi represented one of the applicants. He said under the pending ordinance doctrine, their application was before council acted similar to this and advertised something, so he wasn't under it. There were other applicants who said they could live with the Archbald ordinance, and they put their applications in, and Archbald did not vote for that. So that just means that even the other ones that said they'd live with it, they're not even bound by it. So now they adopted it afterwards, and whether somebody wants to adhere to it or not, but.
No disrespect to anybody. I didn't mean to disrespect anybody. I'm
No,
just
not at all.
upset because I've been here 30 years, built a beautiful home in Westwind Manor, and I don't want to move. So, thank you.
We got that.
Sorry, Wendy Jones, I had a follow-up question to the experts. So what's the plans so I've done extensive research on data centers, and they essentially become obsolete after 10 years. So what's the plan for the buildings after they're no longer useful? And to our solicitor's point,
There is somebody who wants to answer that question, so. Thank you.
Okay, I want an opportunity to answer. So that's absolutely factual that the electronic equipment becomes obsolete. They're re-racked with new equipment every 10 years. They're not obsolete and the building isn't taken down. The systems are re-racked.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. You can continue if you like.
Sure. And also to our solicitor's point about Archbald, they chose not to adopt an ordinance And in the meantime, 2 other data centers put in proposals, just so that's something to think about as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
My question is for the developers too, just to help me understand again. Oh, Christina Larioni again. With the C zones right now, is that big enough for a data center to go in, or do you need the ROS?
Right now, the land that's owned by our clients, right now, the land owned by our clients is large enough to place data centers in the C3 zone. It is. We've offered an accommodation to the borough in terms of saying it may be more appropriate for all of it to be in the ROS zone. But to be very candid with you, we've had no response in that regard.
How you doing? John Stanko, Stanco. I live on the other side of town. I don't live up on the mountain, but I live down where the M1 is, off Olga Street. My first question is, you said there was 16 notices sent out. I live 75 feet from that zoning area. I never received a notice. Why have I not received one?
Our office staff identified any of the properties that were adjacent to that zone. And if you were abutting that zone, you would have received a notice. I don't know why you didn't, but the law provides that they use their best efforts, and I know the staff here did, and it's part of the application. And I said 16. There could be more. There could be less.
I mean, I live on the end of Olga Street, so I mean, I am right there, literally right there.
Yes. Well, what we do is anything that's adjacent, if they're touching it, we endeavor, so I don't know if you're actually touching it, to make sure that a mailed notice went. We also posted, did you see the posting?
So down in the flats, exactly, there is exactly 1, 2, 3 houses that are along the alleyway there that technically isn't even a borough road that touch that. So did all of them get it, plus the empty house that is next to mine, that the residents live in Jersey?
I know what the office has supplied. They supplied a map that identified all the houses that they mailed to with the name. So they did endeavor to.
Okay, I just feel it should have went further than just a house that's right there, and include houses that are within 100 feet at least from that property line. I understand why that's there. I understand that it's not, so that was a different question. My other concern is basically, it's like everybody else here did. I'm an industrial mechanic, so I work in an industrial facility, okay, that is not even going to be half the size of one of these buildings you guys plan on putting up. I know what that drone sounds like every day. Every day I go there, I know what it sounds like. I know what it sounds like with earplugs in. So, I mean, I can contest that is definitely, a big issue, Same thing, I live down in the flats. I could hear the stuff up on the mountain. I look out my window, I could see the mountain. So it's not just pertaining to Bell Mountain area, it is all of Dickson City. My other question is, even looking at this at an economic standpoint, how many jobs is this gonna create? And I'm not talking temporary construction jobs that 90% will be from out of state. I'm talking about local, hard, permanent jobs.
If you're asking for a definitive answer, the fact of the matter is nobody can answer it at this point because nobody knows what can be built. They don't. We're at the zoning point right now.
Okay.
We're not even at planning.
I can ask another question?
Okay, if before, just to answer his other question, and I'd like to know, can you address anything with regard to noise? That for this type of.
I mean, also, do you live one? You're next to the expert. You're an expert. Do you live next to one? Honestly, do you live next to one?
No.
So in our proposed ordinance, we have a noise requirement that we would have to comply with. I believe that's in coordination with your current zoning, which is 70 dB.
Okay, is there going to be, and maybe your expert knows, will there be a constant, that hum that we all heard? I know the stenographer can't hear it, but do you, and if you can't answer it, please do.
I can answer.
Okay, thank you, Mitch.
So the constant hum inside the building is approximately equivalent to what was provided. Outside the building, at say the 100-foot line outside the building, you're at an average of 50 to 60 with peaks. When they kick on every, I don't know, on a normal business day, it averages between 30 minutes and 2 hours on a peak. And that's when the transformers kick on and provide the higher hum rate. All of that can be dissipated through additional walls that would be built, sound walls that would be built around those things. For sound in particular, a lot of the comments were, and I'm not, please know, I am not a sound expert, but there are lots of things, including the 800-foot setback that we offered, that we thought was significantly better than putting it in the ML zone where that kind of setback wouldn't be possible.
I understand, you just mentioned that you could put other buffering or walls.
Yeah. Yeah, sound walls are a standard operating procedure at this point for data centers.
Does that mean can you dissipate the sound that we're not hearing it at the property line?
Yeah. Not zero. It's not going to be zero.
I understand.
It's going to be.
What does it go to roughly? And I understand you're not a sound engineer.
Yeah, as not being a sound engineer, at the property line with standard dissipation walls, you'll be looking at like 60 dB.
And can
Something
you
like
reduce
that.
it lower
50.
than that?
Yeah, you can reduce it lower than that with additional design constraints. But until we actually study, I mean, all of the design is per the location. So that would be studied for that location. And as noted from the community, this location would have its own specific design.
No, I know,
But basically, every 100 foot is a reduction in, like, say, 6 dB per 100 foot. A reduction of sound from distance.
Okay, I'll be done one more second.
Go ahead, Jim.
So, she said she wasn't a sound expert, of course. Now
I'm
she's
not.
rambling numbers off, but so that's not correct either. But on top of that, she said about it being basically useless after 10 years. Again, like I said, I work in industrial maintenance. So what happens to all this electrical waste? Because there is a high level of contaminants in electrical waste. We don't have the facilities in this area to get rid of that electrical waste. So, I mean, what happens then? You know, like they said, yeah, you could look at it tomorrow, but 10 years down the road, when all this electrical waste has got to go somewhere, then where does it go? What happens then?
Anybody on that one? Okay. It's our Rinaldi.
Yeah, whatever waste is generated is regulated by the State Department.
Again.
Please hold your comment. Please hold your comment.
So if it's garbage, it goes to one place. If it's electrical waste, it has to be dealt with on a regulated basis.
Okay. Thank you.
I have one more request too, if I could, because I know we're kind of limited on time. If they don't have a definite answer to get, could we kind of not have them come up and waste everybody else's time? Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert Shishila, SZESCILA. I have 20 years experience working on power systems. So the power system I worked on had 3 megawatts of power, and that produced 90 dBs continuously. Under OSHA regulations, anything above 100 dBs, you have to wear double ear protection. That's That's double ear protection, a muff, and also protection inside your ear. And you cannot do that for more than 8 hours. So what she is saying is absolutely not true. There's no way physically possible that those numbers add up. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Hi. Celine Nash again, just a couple questions. First and foremost, kind of asked this before. Every 10 years when they're changing everything out, where's that data waste going? Where's that technological waste going? Technological waste doesn't biodegrade. It lasts on our Earth quite literally forever and pollutes our waterways and soil. If you want your descendants to not be able to eat or drink anything, go ahead. that's not really a question. I apologize for that one. Secondarily, in Dickson City, I live, like I said, up on Belmont, but not like fully up there, like where the VFW is. We've been having an issue with animals coming into our backyards. Bears, fisher cats. If you don't know what a fisher cat is, look up the noise. It sounds like a child being murdered. It's awful. We have huge deer populations. That was just from like the little bit of construction up when the Geisinger Cancer Center was being built. All those animals started coming back into our backyards. How many more? What are you going to do to protect us from the animals? And what about the poor animals' homes? And not only that, noise pollution drives animals away. If you want only the sound of humming and no birds in your yard, like I don't understand how any of us benefit.
Thank you.
Hi, Deborah, D-E-B-O-R-A-H, Borashevitz, B-O-R-U-S-I-E-W-I-C-Z. I have really 2 points. My first one is to the experts. I don't believe you answered it, but would you be comfortable living and raising a family 800 feet from a data center? Yes or no? She said she wouldn't, for the record. My second point is around the various applications that they have put forward. So the way that I understand it is M1 is the zoning change that we are putting forward, or the council is putting forward.
That has been recommended by our planning commission.
Okay, and that is approximately 15 acres with 7 or 8 acres usable, something like that, they said earlier on. The way that I understand it, that's not sufficient for the amount of data centers that they want to put in. So therefore, they have applied for a second application to put the data centers in a C3 zone, I believe it is. Right?
A little bit different. They actually only applied for the C area. We said go down to the M1. They have said no.
Okay.
They don't know.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. So then my question.
Yes.
Okay, so then my question to the experts is, if you build these data centers in the C zone, what are you doing to offset the impact of the loss of mercantile tax that the borough will have?
Well, the first thing is we're not looking to displace any of the businesses that are located there now. We're not looking to eliminate any of the businesses that are located there now. We're looking to add, I believe it's 3 buildings in that C3 zone. We're not looking to eliminate any of those buildings there.
To Attorney Rinaldi's point, that's correct. The areas that they have proposed, there's nothing currently there.
There's nothing currently there.
Correct.
But there could be commercial businesses there.
That then contribute to the mercantile tax. Okay. And then my last question, the other application is the overlay in the ROS area. So that's kind of.
Which is not something council's
ready to vote on, right? Okay, thank you.
Helena Shoshilla again. Do you need me to spell it? Okay. So just in terms of the noise pollution, and I know somebody said it earlier from the echo down the mountain, regardless of that and all of these plans put forth, everybody's saying the same thing. We're all asking the same question. I think all we really want to ensure is that before any votes or zoning is changed, are you going to get the right studies? Does the council have the economic, the environmental studies, and what community impact does this bring to us as a community? We should all have that information. We all have the right to it. They have to produce it before we rezone, before it's even entertained in a half an hour. We're all asking for the same thing, are we not? Yes. We're all asking for the same thing. So before the vote would even be possible, I think the next step is to postpone it. Where's the economic study? Where's the environmental study? And what is the community benefit impact that we are all going to benefit from? What is it? Do you have it? Do we have it? Did they produce it? Do you have it? It's plans. You know what's projected. It's just a zoning projection, but you said multiple times you know what the plan is. So where are the studies?
And they should pay for the study.
And they should pay for the studies, not us as taxpayers.
Attorney Rinaldi.
Tell Jimmy get up here, pay for the studies, and present them to the community that he's from.
So Attorney Rinaldi is willing to answer that.
So I think the first thing is, we're willing to do studies, but the first step is zoning. So the,
We want them before the council votes.
So-
As a community, we're requesting that we get those studies before the council even votes, do we not?
we'll address any of the planning studies that are required and necessary if zoning is approved. That's like we would in any normal land development. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Rinaldi.
Thomas Lashinsky, Lashinski. Okay, you had it zoned for the M1 zone, correct? Down by the river.
Yes.
And that's what you proposed to the developers. If they don't,
That's what planning has been
commission.
working on this for several months.
Okay.
Before their
That's
application.
beside the point. The point is, if they don't agree to that and they want to go to the C zone, can you give me, without that map, some reference in relation to roads where that C zone is?
Route 6.
So that would entail where Kriger Construction just cut off half the mountain next to Wegmans.
Right here, Ray, can you address where these, or Mike, where these, the three that you proposed for the commercial zone?
Yeah.
If you could use landmarks that we're all familiar with.
Yeah, so I'm gonna reference the map that we had. So this is the ROS area.
Okay.
The C3 area would be this area here, sir.
And this is Cold Spring Road.
Yes, Cold Spring Road. This is Wegmans here, sir.
Right.
This is where the development for convenience store, gas station, and other developments going on right here in this particular zone.
That's the C3 zone.
That's the C3. This is the C3A, which is to the north.
Okay.
Or west, maybe.
Northwest, it
So the C3 basically is an area here where we would propose 3 buildings in this general area. here,
Okay,
sir.
you're saying a general area, all of us can't see it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
if you've mentioned where the Gold Spring Roads, that's the access road for Wegmans.
Yes.
Are you saying you're going to build it where the proposed Wegmans and the old Walmart?
No.
Or where geographically?
So
he's saying where it's going to be the proposed Wawa was supposed to go.
No,
Or
no,
is
no, no,
supposed
no.
to go. Yes, it is.
Okay,
That's C3.
Why don't you tell us
So
where?
the convenience store, gas station, Wawa development is still occurring.
Thank
That is
you.
not changing.
Okay.
We are not looking to eliminate any stores that are currently located there now, be that Wegmans.
Right,
We're not looking to eliminate that, just to be clear.
yes.
So this will be the area to the north and west of those areas currently under development.
So above that area?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and does it, when we're looking from the road, it's above where the Wawa, are you gonna go to the left or to the right with the units?
I believe it's slightly to the right and slightly to the left of those units above where my client owns property. Correct.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Attorney Rinaldi, if I could just clarify something.
Yes.
Are we talking the area of the Circle Drive-In?
no. No.
No,
Okay,
no.
all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's that encompassing is the ROS zone.
No, is that in the ROS or you're staying in the commercial zone?
No, if it doesn't go into the commercial zone, it will overlap into the ROS zone.
Well, it's not allowed there, so I don't
Well,
see-
that's what he's asking for, an easement or whatever it's called.
No, what he was saying is he would abandon the commercial zone, I don't,
And then he would want a variance to go into the ROS zone.
and he
And
would.
I strongly object, and put that on the record, please. And I believe everybody else also would strongly object to that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can we get clarification on, in the beginning of the meeting, we stated that if they don't get the ROS zone and they stay in the C3, they will eliminate the businesses? That was stated earlier in the meeting, and now he's saying that's not the case. So can we have clarification on that?
I'm very clear in this. I'm not looking to eliminate any businesses that are located there right now.
Right now.
Again.
Thank you. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Rinaldi. Thank you.
Hi, I'm back. Sorry. I had one more question. The M1, is that along the Heritage Trail?
Yes.
So why has no one brought that up? The Lackawanna Heritage Trail, we've been trying to get that together for how long to have a nice, beautiful recreational zone, and someone said, oh, there's nothing there right now. There is habitat, there is wildlife, there is trees that are keeping landslides from coming down onto us.
Kids riding bikes.
Kids riding bikes on the heritage trails. People walking their dogs. You know how many people in Dickson City have dogs? We built a dog park for a reason. People, I think if anything, that should be more green space available to us. And I don't know why in the beautification we haven't focused on that instead of data centers.
But they did.
Council is not focused on data centers as part of beautification, just to clarify. Just to clarify, that was not part of our beautification plan.
I figured. I'll just let that go.
Thank you.
Travis Calvert, TravisCalvert. Originally, I was going to sit here quiet. I wrote something to come up to council, to talk to council, not to talk to the data centers, but to look council in the eye as a Dickson City resident, as a former student of many of yours, as the person who taught me to drive a car, who taught me to be proud of the community we're in, as colleagues who I work with now. I'm looking at the mayor right here, who a family friend for years that we've known. I've been proud to say I've been a member of the Mid-Valley area. And I was gonna sit here quiet, and it has not been addressed to council itself, but more around the data centers. So I say, as Gandhi says, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. It's the principle that lies at heart is our local government. Our city council exists here to serve its residents. Service requires transparency. That is what this is about. We were very proud of our 150th anniversary that we just had. We were very transparent. The two members that we acknowledged about our fireworks that they had paid for are also the people proposing these data centers. Transparency is a two-way street. You either have it or you don't. And our members of the community will not have, without this transparency, do not have trust. So, I do want to acknowledge at the same time where we were very proud about Dickson City in our 150th year with the expansion of these data centers, I can't say that we will see another 150 years with putting all of these in. So, so again, to end my comments here is to our council, to the people I looked at, I grew up with, that I work with now. As a member of Dickson City, I want to say, we as the residents really rely on your transparency here, so we can trust you that you're doing the right thing for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you. My name is James Shuda. I live up in West Wind Manor.
Can you spell your name?
S-H-U-T-A. S-H-U-T-A. Okay. First of all, I agree. There's not a single statement that was made tonight that I disagree with.
Talk into the mic.
After watching everybody forget that, I'm sorry. There's not a single thing that was said tonight that I disagree with. And some were right on the money. But I'd like to be a little boring if you'll allow me. There's a wonderful paper that was put up by the University of Michigan, and they had a lot of specifics in terms of some of the questions that are a little nebulous because of the nature of where we are in the process. But you can engage from existing processes, facilities. For example, in the Michigan study, most facilities, and these are not necessarily gigantic facilities, use over 10 million gallons of water per year. And a big one, there's a huge one in Council Bluffs in Iowa that uses around 980 million gallons of water a year. So that's no joke. There was a question about power use, and it's a little difficult to imagine. You can throw around 2 megawatts, 1,000 megawatts, 4.5 megawatts, 4.5 gigawatts. What does it really mean? Well, the Washington Post had a very, very good example of how that works. And I will only cite one of them. There was a plant out in Homer City in the middle of the state. And it was on a site that had an old coal burning plant, electricity generation. And they knocked that down, and they're going to put up a plant to generate 4.4 gigawatts of electricity. That, according to the Washington Post, would supply energy for the entire urban area of Philadelphia. So when we're talking about megawatts and gigawatts, you have to kind of put it into translate it into something that you can grasp and have some meaning. That's a lot of power. Okay, not to say anything about if they're going to pull out that kind of gas, natural gas. What's that going to do to the natural gas supply and demand? But that's something else. And in terms of jobs, again going back to the Michigan paper, once data centers are built, and this is a quote, they require relatively few employees since the facilities primarily host computers and servers. The jobs that data centers do create are typically low-wage, term-limited, non-technical positions such as security, maintenance, and janitorial work. That's a serious study. Now, University of Michigan has no dog in this fight. They just went in and looked at hard data, okay? There's one other thing that this whole business strikes me as being, it's been categorized as, a gold rush, and I think that's what it really is. But it's also, in my opinion, it's an aspect of FOMO, fear of missing out. So you got one, and this is on all levels, municipalities, counties, state, the country. How many times have you heard somebody say, we can't afford to fall behind China with respect to data centers? Okay, you'll see that everywhere. The other thing that bothers me is that everyone heard the expression divide and conquer, military expression. Well, we're already divided, and I'm not going to get into why we have so many municipalities. I'm not touching that. But we're already divided, and the people that want to push this project forward, they are united, and they're picking us off one by one. Archbald, Mayfield, Oliphant, Dickson. Everybody is struggling. All of these individual groups are struggling to try to answer these questions. Meanwhile, they've got a solid block, and that's their job. I get it, but that bothers me, and it also bothers me that I was up to the meeting of NORLAC, Northern Lackawanna Planning, up in Carbondale, and I wasn't even aware that they existed, okay? But then they put me on to SAPA, Scranton, Abington, and there's a planning commission there, along with the Lackawanna County Commission, and you've mentioned Lackawanna County. I don't understand, I looked them up, they all have land use as part of their vision statement and their purpose statement. I don't understand why we can't depend a little bit more on them, why we still have to stay in our silos. And the last thing I'll say, the second last thing, sorry. I tend to lie. Let's imagine the worst. Let's say this stuff goes through and all this stuff is around. Who's going to monitor it? Who's going to regulate it? Is the DEP staffed and funded to monitor the 55 plants? I refuse to use campus. I'm sorry, that's a euphemism to make it seem a little more pleasant. Oh, it's a campus. No, Marywood is a campus. These are not campuses. So I just wonder about that, should the worst happen. And then, in terms of obsolescence, there's stuff on the horizon. I don't know if anyone saw this, but the MIT in the last year, has developed what's called a stackable chip. It's they stack logic processors one on top of the other. Now, where that's going, I don't know. It'll vastly decrease the heat that's generated. Now, that sounds like a good thing. But if you have 50 plants, and you no longer need 50 plants, it goes back to what one of the other gentleladies back here said. What do you do with those plants if you don't need all of them anymore? Okay, that's just one thing. And the other thing that's on the horizon is quantum computers. The IEEE, the Electrical Engineer Association, they already have advice in their statements to builders to plan for conversion down the road. Now, we're not talking next month, okay, or next year. Quantum computing is off. It's going to come. And there's an interesting thing about quantum computing. You need to have those units cooled nearly to absolute zero. So if you think you need, water and cooling to bring this down, to keep these individual chips cool and the individual servers cool, what's it going to take to turn a 7-story building into a giant refrigerator? I had lots more here, but I think I've taken up enough time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And I'm clearly opposed.
Is there any more comment at this time?
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
If that's okay. Christina Larioni, yeah. So if council votes tonight and they, reject the ROS, developers, they don't like the M1, can the council advise the people, what's our next steps to stop them from going into the C3 zones? It sounds like they can technically build there, and I know that's not this meeting tonight, but can the people prepare to fight whatever we need to do to stop them from going in up by Wegmans?
Would you like to answer that?
Nobody has a crystal ball, so I don't know what they do, but presumably what they would do is if they disagree with our zoning officer, they will appeal his decision to the zoning hearing board, and that's a public hearing. It's not this body, but they meet in the same place, and they will say, one, that they'll appeal his decision and say it isn't appropriate, and they say that it's either a principal permitted use or whatever other type of use that they think is in that zone. So they would go to that particular body.
Okay, thank you.
You explained to her though that tonight that it's not the ROS zone.
Oh yeah, we're not dealing with an ROS zone. We couldn't vote on that. I know I've beaten that dead horse, but that was something for whatever reason they have put forward, and I know that would be it. But if there's no public comment, we can go into our meeting. If not, we'll recess.
And we know what we need to do then too, for when the next step comes, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep. Okay, with that, if there's no more public comment, we'll open the public meeting. Is there any, we're all right with that? Okay.
I was just gonna.
Oh, that's okay. Well, it's.
I just wanted to say that there will be another public comment on February 12th, correct?
If that's what they vote on, that's what we're trying to do.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that that they will probably vote for another public comment.
Okay, so we'll go back to our special meeting that we had opened back at 7 o'clock and recessed. There are two motions on for this evening. The first motion would be to adopt Ordinance 1, 2026 pertaining to the development of data centers. And the second one, to continue the public hearings meeting to February 12th at 5:30 for all data centers ordinances, including but not limited to the proposed Borough Ordinance 1, Borough Ordinance 2, for the M1 district, and public meeting to follow at 7:30.
Okay. No, that's it. So just so everybody understands why they're there, that's what we're required to do. We put this out 24 hours in advance. So the first motion that the chairman had brought up, if nobody makes it and seconds it, we go right to the second one. Okay, so anybody making it, I guess.
And just for clarification purposes, as Attorney Jones pointed out, the law says 24 hours beforehand these have to be made, so we don't know, where we're at. So the first motion, would anybody like to make that? With nobody making the motion, then we'll continue on to the second motion.
If I could read that.
You could read it? Sure.
Okay, the second motion is to continue the public hearing to February 12th at 5:30 PM for all data center ordinances, including but not limited to the proposed Borough Ordinance 1 and Borough Ordinance 2 for the M1 district, and a public meeting, for 7:30 PM on that date in this chamber, where they could vote or not vote on a particular ordinance that would be in front of them. They're the two ordinances that are in front of them. I know that, that's the motion. If we could vote on it, then I would add some editorial comment on the third one.
We have a motion.
I'll make the motion, Mr. President.
We have a motion by Mr. Hall. Second?
Second.
Ms. Sims?
Yes.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Hall, seconded by Ms. Sims. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Ms. Sims?
Yes.
Ms. Conyer?
Yes.
Mr. Cesare?
Yes.
Mr. Horvath?
Yes.
Mr. Paszynski?
No.
Mr. Kowalewski?
Yes. Motion carries. So at this time that I'd like to announce that we'll have the public hearing, again, on February the 12th at 5:30, continuing from this evening. And I'd also like to thank all of the members of our audience for coming here, giving us your comments, questions, concerns. We appreciate it very much so, and we hope to see you at that public hearing as well. Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Cesare on the motion to adjourn, a second?
Second.
Mr. Horvath? All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Mr. Shepstone.
Shepstone, thank you.
I like the new look.
Oh, yeah.